Hi, friends. Today we're going to talk about how to write a basic novel outline. Now, when it comes to writing novels, there's usually two ways to do it, or maybe a mix of these two might be the third way. But first, there's those that outline their novels in detail. And when I first wrote my World War II novels, that's how I did it. I just had every chapter was broken down. I knew exactly what was going to happen. There was a ton of details. And that might be so overwhelming for some people. Now, the other people that sit down and just start writing and then see where the story goes. And those are called pansters, seat by the pansters. So there's outliners and there's pansters. And then there's those that maybe do a little outlining, but then also sit down kind of to see where it goes. And their characters may surprise them. And over time, I've kind of become the third person, kind of a hybrid of both the outliner and the panster. But to outline a novel, I got some advice from Dean Koontz. I figured he might be a good one since he's a New York Times bestselling author to give us some advice. So here are his 4 steps. First, it says plunge your main character into terrible trouble as soon as possible. And usually I like it the first 3 pages. There has to be something that's plunged him in. That's my words, not Dean's. But he also says that trouble will mean something different depending on your genre. For a thriller, it might be life threatening. For a romance, it might mean choosing between two suitors. Number 2, Dean says, everything your character does to try to get out of trouble makes it only worse. And number 3, things eventually appear hopeless. Number 4, finally, everything your character has learned through all that trouble gives him what he needs to personally conquer the opposition. And I like that, to personally conquer the opposition. Someone else can't rush in to save him or her. Your character has to learn to do that. So thank you, Dean, for that advice. But I want to kind of break it down a little bit more. And so here is my basic novel outline. And this is kind of what I use when I'm working on my novels. So number 1, just like Dean said, you have to have a character with a problem. He or she wants something more than anything, but obstacles are in the way. And that has to be introduced in the first chapter. If you can find some way to tie it in on the first page, get that character to want something more than anything, and you know what that at the end of the novel that thing is going to be solved. Either the character gets what he or she wants or gets something different, but it's just as satisfying. But they have to have a problem and they have to want something more than anything else. And that has to matter so it'll matter to the reader. Number 2 come the obstacles. There's internal obstacles and there's external obstacles. So when I'm writing about my Amish community, internal obstacles might be wanting to please someone else, or it might be wanting to leave the Amish community. And then there's external obstacles. There's people trying to put their own will on the character. There may be physical problems. I've had my characters get lost in the woods or be in the middle of a snowstorm or in the middle of a fire. I mean, all these things can be obstacles that will move the character along. So pretty soon you're thinking, there's no way this poor character is going to get any luck or any chance to get out of this problem. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there's a moment of grace. And that's the turning point where your character gets inspiration. So remember earlier when Dean says your character has to get what he needs to personally conquer the opposition. So this moment of grace takes place halfway through your novel. So think about a novel, open it up in the middle. There should be somewhere right in there the moment of grace. In movies, Stan Williams says that you can count on it, that good storytellers, scriptwriters, movie producers, directors know that halfway through the movie that has to be the moment that the character takes on the challenge. So think about Rocky Balboa. It seems like every move's the same. He's down, he's getting lower, there's all these obstacles, financial and health problems or whatever. The enemy's growing stronger, and then there's the moment where Rocky says, I'm going to do this. And he puts on his hoodie and he takes his boxing gloves and he starts running through the street and he starts working out. That would be the moment of grace in the um, in the Rocky movies. So think about that's the moment when the character gets inspiration and they say, okay, I am going to do this. It's all up to me. I'm going to grow stronger. I'm going to make this happen. And the character will then change tactics. So they were going one direction, now they're going a new direction. But even though they're heading in a new direction, there's going to be more and different obstacles that the character must overcome. So you can write those down. What can those be? Number 6, the ultimate obstacle will come where it seems like the character has lost everything. And I love those books when you are thinking there is no way this character is going to get out of this. I just can't see it. And I especially love it, even though it's because I'm an author, when I'm like, there's no way the reader can pull this off. And then something will happen that has to make sense. It can't just like come out of the blue, but it has to make sense to the story where the character can turn everything around, and that's the climax where it all comes to a head. That's the win or lose point, and of course, we want our character to win. And then finally, the character gets what he or she wants or gets something better. So maybe in the beginning, the character wanted more than everything to be married to a certain person, and at the end, she discovers that that person wasn't the person for her, but she's with someone else, or maybe she opened a bakery and realizes that she doesn't need love, she just needs muffins, or I don't know what it is. But all those things, the character either gets what he or she wants or gets something better, and then the satisfying conclusion where the reader puts down the book. They wish it hadn't ended. They want to know more about the characters' lives, but they are still satisfied because you have brought that character who wanted something more than anything, and that you have taken them on a journey through the book. And that is the basic outline of a plot. I have a worksheet for you so you can fill in the blanks, and hopefully it'll help you when you are working on your novels.